Hey everybody, welcome into Northern Life here with Ryan Half. I'm Briggs LaSavage. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. We wanted to formally introduce ourselves to any newcomers to the show. We've got so many people in town for Grandma's Marathon weekend. Welcome. First of all, happy to have you here in Duluth. Right. Sorry that the weather couldn't have been a little more dry for you, right?
The weather's been pretty wild the past couple of days. But yeah, driving around town, I've seen a Oregon license plate. I've seen a Colorado license plate. So I'm expecting to see a whole lot more in the near future here.
No kidding. People come from all places, to run Grandma's Marathon. A ton of different states, even different countries, which is so cool. And not just elite runners, from who are coming in to run this race from different countries, but we've got just, athletes of all kinds coming in, so really fun to see. And I love seeing a super busy Duluth. I know some people are like, I might hit the road when Grandma's Marathon comes to town.
The crowds come in,
busy and crowded, but I love it. It makes it exciting. I love people watching.
You do, It's cool to see like a bunch of families maybe experiencing Duluth for the very first time. We're going back to people around the world too. I know by the Slip Bridge they have flags out with where they say the runners are from all of those countries. So welcome to Duluth. I wish I had more languages to say welcome, but I'll have to brush up on my language skills. Well, hey, coming up on today's show, we have a really awesome chat in store with the director of next month's FinnFest festival. Sorry, FinnFest is the festival. Mimu Salmela will be hearing about some of the 100 plus events that are in store for the International Festival taking place in July over at the Deck, including big plans for those who love saunas.
Yeah, big plans. And we will, of course, talk about all of the events going on this weekend with Grandma's Marathon, including the race tonight. That's the William A. Urban 5K, as well as the big Carbo Low dinner you can take advantage of too. One of my favorite events that has to do with the Grandma's Marathon. I just love that spaghetti.
Good stuff.
It sure is. Well, if you're new in town, first of all, again, welcome. Second, the Star Tribune just recently came out with a list of some of the best places to eat and drink here in Duluth. They rattled off places like Vabene, Duluth Coffee, Bali, which is new, and of course we have been there as a team as well. Very delicious. But we thought it'd be fun to share some of our own tourism advice if you're new to Duluth. So Ryan,
let me kick it off.
I have so many running through my head. I'm like, sheesh.
That's the thing too. When you have friends or family in town, they go, "Where should we go?" And you go, "Well, I feel like I should know every place, but also I have no ideas at the exact same time." So I would say my favorite go-to spot if you've never been to Duluth is going to Enger Tower. Ooh, going on that platform to see over the city. That's always a good time. Obviously, go down by the Lake Walk here in Canal Park. Other places, if you need a breakfast spot, Bridgman's was also on that Star Tribune list. Our team's a big fan of Bridgman's. Oh yeah, it's very good stuff.
I highly enjoy just the Lincoln Park neighborhood as a whole. They have so many fun breweries there. Yes, OMC, delicious barbecue. And then the fun part too is if you stop by the breweries, all of them are really family friendly, so you can bring the kids, order some food to eat there at some of them, and so it's just like a really fun atmosphere. And if it does clear up, you can sit outside and play in some of the yards that they have. So plenty of fun places.
Be sure to check out some of the parks too, like Lester Park's always fun. Lester, Chester, absolutely. All those other ones. Anger, like
Hartley
I said.
Nature Center. I live close to there, and that's always a good one. Although, be a little careful, though, if you do go to Hartley, because it's been so rainy. I think the mud, they might want people staying off the trails right now that I think about it.
Like we said, we live here, spend years and years here, but at the same time, we know every place, but kind of freeze up sometimes when we offer some advice.
Right.
Well, hey, I was scrolling on TikTok the other night, and there was a spokesperson for Omaha Steaks. We used to have Omaha Steaks growing up as a family, and they asked a question that I had personally never considered before. So listen to this.
Would you eat a steak with your hands if they sold it on steak?
I'd eat it on a stick.
Much as I want to say no, probably yes.
Easy yes. Any type of steak, and I'm in. Yes.
I don't think so. Too messy.
Yes.
That's like a nice, thick, juicy steak. I probably would. I'm a Nebraskan. Steak is steak.
Certainly something to think about. So Briggs, would you eat a steak with your hands at a ball game or a sporting event if they did indeed sell it?
I'm absolutely not above just grabbing a steak and eating it with my hands.
So good.
I have no problem with that. My problem would be how much does a steak cost at a ball game?
$75.
You just get a drink, even a pop, it's like $16 at some of those stadiums. So, but I think a ball game is a really fun time. Why not enjoy that with like a nice luxury meal, like a a nice steak.
Like a mashed potato in it.
I too had never considered something like that, but it sounds great.
A 95-degree ball game, just having mashed potatoes and steak, maybe some asparagus.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe if it's outside, I don't know if I want a steak. Maybe US Bank Stadium, a little winter Vikings game or something. I could go for a steak.
I think the problem too would be if you're having a whole steak with your hands, the juices would fly around and probably start hitting folks, so that might be an issue. The gentleman who had the idea of putting it on a stick, now that's a good idea.
Oh, very smart. That's some state fair. That guy's been to the state fair a time or two.
Might be Minnesotan. Yeah.
Well, sometimes we all just need to complain about something in order to feel better, right? And apparently Minnesotans are among those who complain the least in the country. A new study out by Preply found residents in Mississippi and Alabama are the biggest complainers in the country. Meanwhile, residents in Georgia and Oregon were the least likely to complain, with Minnesota actually coming in 5th. Okay, not bad. The study reports Americans complain most about the cost of things and how people drive. When it comes to relationships, 1 in 3 people say they have cut ties with people who complain too much. There's nothing worse than someone who complains too much. I, though, am surprised Minnesota was so high in the least complainers, because we all have one thing that we complain about all the time: the weather.
Construction.
Oh, that too.
Potholes, those things. It didn't also load Wisconsin and Michigan, so sorry for the folks out there, but I complain all the time about people's driving abilities. While we know, apparently my road knowledge isn't the best, but when people...
Do you have any basis to even be complaining, Ryan? I don't know.
It's difficult when it comes to that yield sign. I have a tough time, but when people complain, or especially when most people say, like, I'm tired, when in a conversation, I just don't know how to react. So sometimes when I hear people complain, I'm like, I'm going to cut ties with you.
It can be annoying for sure, but we don't have that much to complain about living in Minnesota. Beautiful here. All things FinnFest after the break. Welcome back, everybody. There are always so many fun events here in Duluth during the summer, and that includes FinnFest, which makes its return this year to the deck.
Yeah, so coming up next month in July, over 5 days, you can experience all things Finland and Nordic. And here to tell us more about it is the Executive Director of FinnFest, Mumu Salmela. First, thank you for being here. And second, before we talk more about FinnFest, we'd like to know more about you. So you are actually a Finnish citizen as well.
Yeah, I am. I moved here in 1999 and have been here since. And half of my life I've lived here.
Wonderful. And what brought you to Duluth originally? It sounds like it was a pretty cool story.
Yeah, so I came to work with the UMD women's hockey team, worked with them for 7 years, and then went on to work in different areas, and actually lived in Finland with my family during COVID year for a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just a little twist of that.
Yeah, that must have been quite
But we're back here now, and now I get to organize FinnFest, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and let's talk about FinnFest. What can people expect to find this year at that event, and what is that event?
Well, so FinnFest has been organized for 41 years. It's actually a national event that now landed back in Duluth for the next 5 years in a row. Okay. Just because we have so many Finns and Nordics here in Duluth area, and we have had many very successful FinnFest in Duluth. So it's an event that brings in people from all over the country. Actually, people from Finland. There's some people from Finland that have come quite often actually in the last 10 years, and it's fun. We bring the Nordic flair, Nordic music, events, the most up-to-date knowledge about whether it's foreign affairs or you name it, and it just brings people together to learn more about different cultures.
And you're the executive director of this festival, and not only is it probably a lot of work to do here in Duluth, but you're actually going to Finland to help arrange this festival.
Yeah,
I mean, that's got to be quite crazy.
Yeah, so I'll be going today actually, and we'll be organizing the rest of the festival from there. So that will be cool, and we have a lot of people who are coming from Finland too. So having people here and there doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's like 120 different events in FinnFest. Is that right?
I was actually looking at the sheet yesterday. I think we're hovering around 170 now. Just looking at like individual, performances. We have every day, we have exhibitions and demonstrations and things like that. If you really count it, it's hovering around 170.
Wow. So coordinating that from overseas must be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, but I don't think, we have a really good team here. We have a solid team, and what I would like to say is that we have found a core group of people, Duluthians and Minnesotans, and actually we have somebody from New York and people from Finlandia Foundation National helping us out. So just bringing people together and working together has been amazing this year.
So when it comes to the Finnish and Nordic cultures, what are we top of mind here? I've seen that there's floorball we're going to be playing.
Yes.
There's coffee that's being brought in.
Yeah.
What else? The sauna. We get a lot of emails if we don't say that word correctly.
Gosh,
so
yes.
I know it's a big one.
Yeah. So sauna is actually one thing that people were asking for more from last year.
Really?
They said you didn't have enough sauna, so now we have arranged it. You can take saunas, you can buy saunas, you can learn about saunas, you can learn about wood as a building material. It just goes on and on and on. So we're bringing a sauna in every possible form. So that's what we built more for this year. And then culturally, the music, the food.
Yeah.
DEC puts on a really good spread of Finnish food, actually. We curated a menu that is Finnish. And speaking of sauna, there's also a sauna seminar on Thursday. And that's a whole full day program that I encourage people to look at it. Lunch is included. You just sit through wonderful presentations and learn everything about sauna.
And I think another thing, too, that's really cool about the FinnFest is that you have foreign affairs experts who come in. Well, I know we did it last year too, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And you have this 5-year stretch in Duluth. It's got to be cool to bring these world leaders
Unbelievable.
into the Twin
Last
Ports.
year we had Finland and NATO as the main topic for that conversation, and we filled the room. The ambassador, Senator Klobuchar, was there. Wow. This year we are bringing Pekka Haavisto, who is our keynote speaker. Obviously, he will be talking about even beyond that. We have a high-level military and cybersecurity expert coming to present on that Finland and Russia relationship. But then Pekka Haavisto, who is our foreign affairs minister from last government, he will be actually opening up more information about that. How do we deal with peace? Look, you think about the global crises that are going on.
Yeah.
Peace is possible, opportunities for that. Plus, he's also a Green Party leader, so there will be a conversation about carbon neutral Finland.
Wow.
And what does that look like, carbon neutral Minnesota? So bringing the experts from state level in Minnesota to a table discussing how does Finland do it? How will Minnesota do it? So that's kind of a cool extra information you can learn and really be at the top of, hear it from the top experts.
Yeah, so it sounds like you can have some very productive conversations at FinnFest and have a whole lot of fun too, whether that's floorball, which we were talking about, the saunas, a whole ton of really awesome stuff. So thank you so much for being here with us today. So fun to learn about that event. FinnFest 2024 is arriving at the DEC on July 24th and 28th. I know ticket sales are happening right now, so make sure you get your tickets early, it sounds like.
Yes, we just yesterday announced that Finnair is going to give away, we're going to give away a Finnair flight to Finland.
Amazing.
Between those who buy the ticket in advance. So go get your tickets now so you have a chance to fly to Finland next year.
Welcome back, everybody. Wishing all of you racers out there a good night's sleep tonight. But before you get that much needed rest, be sure to take advantage of some of the fun activities going on tonight. There's quite a bit of them. There's still time to stop over by the Fitness Expo over at the DEC from up until 8 p.m. tonight. Also, if you're hungry, the Michelina's all-you-can-eat spaghetti dinner is now open until 9 p.m. Also at the DEC. That's one of my favorite Grandma's Marathon events. The spaghetti's so good, but I also just love the vibes.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's so many people there, and the excitement is real. The nervous energy also real, mostly from myself.
It's like a pancake breakfast too. Just busy, but I'll love to see everybody down there.
Yeah. Then too, best of luck to the William A. Irvin 5K runners who are going to be hitting the course tonight. I believe that starts at 6. And then the Whippersnapper race is happening today too over at Bayfront. So a whole lot of fun to take in, no matter how old you are. You got stuff for the kids, stuff for people who just want to check out some of the vendors over at the DEC at the expo. There's plenty of different marathons there, different shoe companies, so you can try on a bunch of things. Expo's fun.
And I think there's a lot of music too at Bayfront, right? Is there music tonight and then there's music tomorrow night or most of the day tomorrow?
Yeah. Rock the Bayfront is tonight. They have a band going, and then it starts like first thing in the morning right away on Saturday, because when those runners are finishing, they want to celebrate immediately after, so they've got bands going at like I want to say like 9 a.m. Like it's pretty early.
If they're still standing after the marathon. I remember I ran the half marathon, and the last thing I wanted to do was continue to stand. So maybe go home, take a nap, and then go down to Bayfront and check them out.
Music goes all night, so you've got time.
Yeah, you'll find it. Back in 2021, Minnesota's very own Dakota Lindworm took home first place in Grandma's Marathon, and now years later, she is heading to Paris after making it on the U.S. Olympic team.
So impressive. Ren Clayton caught up with Dakota as she reflects on how she got here to this moment as she now sets her sights on the Summer Games.
Along many steps of the way, this outcome was unimaginable. Dakota Lindworm didn't even come close to qualifying for a state meet her entire high school career in St. Francis, Minnesota.
I'm somebody who really hates being bad at things, so I feel like that really just fueled my fire.
That fire kept getting stoked. Lindworm walked on to run at D2 Northern State. She became an All-American, but still wasn't sure about a pro career. A seminal moment took place in 2021 when she won Grandma's Marathon in Duluth.
It was a year after my mom had died, so I feel like it had just meant so much to me because it was such a dream of hers to see me succeed in running.
Sprint forward, still an under-the-radar runner in the U.S., Lindworm qualified for the Olympics.
Once it kind of opened up towards the end where people started running faster, I was just hanging on for dear life to take third.
She's got it!
It was maybe the most emotional moment of my career. It was just elation and relief that all this hard work that I've been doing is finally paying off.
The marathon will be held on the last day of the Paris Olympics, giving Dakota time to take in all that she's accomplished.
I hope it's everything I dream of. I want to be a part of the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony. I want to take it all in.
More than most distance runners, for Lindworm, it's been a long and bumpy road with a specific lesson.
I guess I've just learned that I can be the hardest worker on the starting line. I don't have to be the fastest or the most talented, that I can just be the hardest worker, and that will pay off.
Big congrats to her. How about that?
Seriously, so inspiring. And she's going to be running the half tomorrow, so best of luck to Dakota. Make sure to cheer for her.
And if you haven't checked it out yet, I believe Alexis Bass did a story on her last night, so be sure to go to northernnewsnow.com and watch that full story as well.
And we hear from her very, very proud father. Well, hey, coming up after the break, we'll share sneak peeks of next week's stories.
Welcome back, everybody. Before we talk about next week's story, I learned recently I run on my heels and not the balls of my feet. So that's a no-no.
So
and hurting my shins in the process. So for the runners out there this weekend, don't run on your heels. Run on the balls of your feet.
All right, advice time with Ryan, running expert right here.
Running expert. I've completed the half marathon before. It was not fun. Coming up next week on Northern Life, we are back in Superior over at Superior Tan and Wellness. On a rainy day, Hunter and I were safe inside, getting some rest and relaxation with their hydro massage machine, as well as some red light therapy devices.
It looks like you guys might have fallen asleep right in those machines.
We could have.
It looks ghosty.
We could have indeed. It was really nice.
Then coming up on Tuesday, we are staying here in the Northern Life studio, playing a game that's remained popular for decades. Ryan treats us to a game of Uno for next week's Blindfold, and I was surprised. I didn't know what we had in store. We were walking into the studio, and those are some of the most scary blindfolds because you're like, anything could be waiting for you in this room.
Who's here?
Who is here? Yeah. What am I gonna have to do? But just a not so friendly game of Uno, as it turned out.
We had the friendly welcome invite to Kendall Jarbo to hang out with us too.
So fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck at the marathon. If you're running, we'll see you Monday.
Find some time to throw a line, or just head outside to unwind. That's the life in the great North Woods. Hike or bike, whatever you like. Get out in the day, enjoy the night. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, this is Northern Life.